Hello, guys. Welcome back to our other BlackPink leader podcast. And I think we've been podcast with you guys a lot of time now. Oh my God, we already episode 27, Pauline. I
Wow,
can't believe. I
time
can't believe it.
flies.
I can't
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
it.
yeah. And it seems like we have a lot of topics to talk about when it comes to leadership.
Yes, and it looked like it's
Yeah.
another end topic. I'm not sure you
Mm,
guys watching us or what or listening us from
mm.
Spotify, YouTube, or Facebook, but welcome back. We have another special topic today for you guys.
Yes, and it's all about inclusivity.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, how to empower a diverse team. So let's start
yeah,
with the topic. This terminology sounds really new and edgy when we talk
yeah.
about inclusive leadership. So, Ning, maybe you want to share your perspective. What is your take about like what inclusive leadership mean to you? Yes.
Yeah. First, we have what understand what is diverse team first, right? Because if we don't know
Mm,
where people come from and how different we are, how can
yes.
we inclusive them together as a leader? How do
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
pick people from a different background, from a different
Mm,
knowledge, from a different family
mm,
upbringing, and working well together? I
mm.
think diverse is make us interesting, right? I
Yes.
definitely don't want someone exactly like me in the same
Yeah.
environment every day because you know too well life will be bored. Did not mean
Yes.
as a leader we love drama, but somehow universe create us in the special way to solve a lot of drama and
Mm,
problem. So I think
mm,
diverse so far for me when I'm start be leading to my team, I realized that oh my god, everybody is so different. And
yes.
when I was young as a leader, I used to trust what everybody say and listen to what they say, and I think what they say is true. But then in a long journey or process of leadership, when you have to learn more about
Mm,
psychology, you realize that sometimes people come to work and they can tell you, yeah, I'm good.
mm,
Did not mean they're good, right? You have to read
mm.
under the line at the essence, what is that really mean today for them. They can may say they're good, but inside they have family issue. The kid was
Yes.
sick last night, and
Yes.
they may just say it to finish the problem in two sentences, but it's not resolve a deeper root problem, especially in the organization, right? You have new conflict every day. So
Mm,
I think diverse must first for me. Now I understand for myself that
mm,
diverse mean everybody will wake up and go to the team and contribute something today, but yesterday or the day before or the whole family or the whole childhood background or whatsoever can affect them. An individual of them
mm.
have their own life story will
Yeah.
contribute to today work perform. So as an
Yeah.
inclusive leader, first I have to have this awareness first that none of my team member is the same. How can I help them individually so they can help the team to perform better?
Yes. Well, to me also, to add on inclusive leadership, I'm not sure about probably your team have more homogeneous or Vietnamese, mainly Vietnamese.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
when I was running my organization, can you imagine? I've got people from Singapore, and even in
Yeah.
Singapore, there are different. It's already a very cosmopolitan place. So we have the Indians, the Malays, the Chinese. This is already one group,
Yes.
right? The different ethnicity, right? And
Yes.
also I do have officers in Singapore, Malaysia. Then Malaysia also have that like Malay Muslims followed by Indians, different. And we have people from China. Okay, even though we are Chinese in Singapore, but the Chinese even in China. And I have a team in Taiwan. So you should know also there's the political thing, right, between China
Yes.
and Taiwan. And I've got two teams over there. And sometimes we
Yeah.
got to work with one another. Okay,
Yes.
and I also have a team in Bangkok. That one is a little bit out because speak a different language. Yeah, there are times where they kind of like understand, don't understand, even though we speak in English. But I do have, like, for example, some of my team members in Taiwan who doesn't understand English. So there will be
Mm,
some issues. Or in China, also don't understand English. So
yeah,
this is where, when it comes to being inclusive leadership, just that itself, so we call it the MNC, multinational corporation.
yeah,
We really need to be able to include everybody in just in one meeting. We need to make sure that no one's left behind because
yeah,
everyone is important. Yeah. And also when it comes to celebration, in even in a celebration, we need to make sure that we have to be sensitive as well in terms of sometimes even food. Like for example, if we have our Muslim team members, we have to be sensitive that we don't have the celebration that they can't have the kind of food. And sensitivity also sometimes when it comes to geopolitical situation. Yeah, when
mm,
we talk about certain things, right? So this is what we mean by inclusive leadership. And I do have team members, even though when I was running in my previous organization, which is a listed company, a financial education company, we have people as young as probably like 20 years old who come and intern for us,
yeah,
and as senior as probably like 50 odd years old.
yeah,
So that in itself, like the 50 odd years old can be the father or mother of the 20 years old. They come from two different generations. Thinking would be also quite different. Topics that they talk about would be different as well.
yeah,
How tech savvy they are sometimes can be also a little bit different, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So and the learning in terms of how we learn also can be quite different as well. So when we talk about what does inclusive leadership mean in this era, really, we have to know how to embrace each and everybody's strength, as well as how to help them and complement their weaknesses. So
yeah,
taking one example, we talk about this thing on a multi-generational organization. This is the era where if you really want to have this thing about the multi-generation, where we put out like the baby boomers, the Gen X, the Gen Y, then we talk about the Gen Z, no, the millennials, and then the Gen Z. Okay, I always get very confused. It's like even those born in the year 2000, they have already come out to work. Yeah, I was like, even my daughter, like 2000, she has worked for a few years. And
yeah.
I do have like people in maybe my father's generation who's in the 70s. Sometimes they are still working in the organization as well.
That's right.
So that is where you can see that. And they are not very tech savvy.
Yeah,
Not that they don't want to, it's just that they have been very used to doing things in a certain way. Like I used to do things on my previous organization is actually in financial education, and we do a lot of stock investment. And you
yeah.
know what they are really good at, the very senior people? They can use pen and paper and they
Yeah.
calculate from there. They will just write down and then they will say, okay, this
Yeah.
is how you do the stocks, right? Then they draw. And
Oh
I still
my God.
remember one of them. Yeah, I still remember one of them
I
said,
suck
how
for
last
that.
time analyze my stocks, I put mahjong paper.
Oh
So
my
what
God.
he did was he actually put down all the mahjong paper and he would draw out. And then he matches all the mahjong paper over the years. So that's how he did when he wants to do the trending. But now the young people are like, can we use the app? And then I just click, 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 and the numbers will pop out, and then the trend will come.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah. So I mean, each of them has got their own way of doing that, no right or wrong. He sometimes say
Yeah.
that the older generation might think that you don't ask me to use app. By the time I figure out the app, actually I've completed my calculation. It's faster.
Yeah.
Embrace that. All right.
Yeah.
So this is where what I mean by inclusive leadership would be okay. If these certain things need to be done fast, and the younger people, let's say, can click the buttons faster, we give them the job. If we talk
Yeah.
about, for example, relationship building, and the older generation can do it better, we ask the older generation probably to take the younger people and build the relationship and show them the ropes of it. So this is where I find this is what it means to me when it comes to inclusive leadership, to embrace each and everyone's strengths, weaknesses, and make the full use of them to grow the organization. Do not
Yeah.
limit it. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is how my take is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also did the chat GPT. what inclusive leadership means. And it says it
Yeah,
refers to a management style that values diversity and promotes an environment where all team members feel respected, empowered,
yeah,
and able to contribute their perspective. I think this is really important about this thing
yeah.
called contributing their perspectives. So no
That's right.
one, okay, is like being put aside, whether you are
Mm,
young, old, tech savvy, non-tech savvy, learn fast, learn slow. Yeah.
yeah.
But the key thing would be, I think, I like how the ChatGPT put in terms of the key characteristics. Like,
Mm,
they put out there first is openness to diversity, second is empathy, third is communication, fourth
mm,
collaboration, and I like the fifth one, which is equitable opportunities, which means
mm.
to ensure that all individuals have equal chances to contribute and advance. I think
Yeah,
basically that is the key thing. Everybody must have equal opportunity. I mean, equitable. May not be equal, but equitable opportunities. Yes. So no one is being left behind. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I think we
so Nia,
we
what do
live.
you yeah.
I think we live in a world right now that is like opportunity. I find is a lot for everybody. I may say that,
Mm,
and people we may not agree. They say, "Oh, what are you talking about? AI is a lot, and we lose the job." But think
yeah.
about who built the AI, right? The guy
Yeah.
behind it is also a human. And then you need to manage that. And then you need to build it stronger and better for
Mm,
human being. It's mean you
mm,
always have opportunity for people who are tech savvy, like you say. If you
yes.
really know the direction of the market. And how about the other side where like people like me, like people someone like similar like me who only good with human, right? We like I'm very sure
Mhm.
this is guaranteed that I'm not a tech person, right? I work
You
very hard to
are.
do it. No, actually I learned a lot, Pauline. For the last 2 years,
Yeah.
I learned so much for improve myself. I forced myself to
Mm,
go AI event. You know, my friend would laugh
yes.
at me. Say, do you understand half of the thing the guy talk on the stage? I say I don't. Really, I don't understand most of the thing they saying. I don't understand most of the stuff they have in the
Mm,
event or
mm,
like,
mm.
but I'm forced myself to be there. And now after
Yes.
2 years, I finally understand a little bit. I will say a little bit. I won't, you know, sometimes you on the stage, you will see a lot of nerd guy.
Mm, mm, mm,
And
mm.
they just talk about tech stuff like you are engineer
Yes.
and you're not. And if a one sentence he say 9 word already is about the guy who know about computer will understand and not a normal
Yeah.
human being like me, right? So like I really force myself a lot to understand, to be honest. Like I book myself in the environment to learn, but I'm not naturally like good with text, you know. Now I get it, I get the whole big
Yes.
picture. But you ask me to sit down and break down this screen and understand it,
Uh,
what inside to make it, I'm definitely don't understand,
mm,
right? So and I think
yeah.
like, and then you have opportunity for people who like a normal only good with human
Mm-hmm.
like me, or like similar you interest in human, then
Yes.
now you learn how to solve problem of human, not solve problem from tech. So like you say, right, you have opportunity equally for people
Mm,
if they really looking for that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. And this is why it is essential in today's world. Well, I'm saying today's world really is because we do have the four generations people working together. Yeah, and
yeah,
technology from my time, I must say I was born in the analog to digital world. We are
yeah,
in that transition. I started with analog, right? And after that, when I was in the 90s, 2000, when I start work, then it becomes
yeah,
the digital world. Yeah,
yeah,
so I have the blessing to be in both, right?
yeah,
We talk about the Gen X era, Gen X to a little bit of a Gen Y. So this is essential, as I said. Things are in this way that the older gen, like for example, you mentioned, they would still embrace you in terms of you're a people person. See, if
yeah,
you're a tech person and you are not a people person, they do need us as well. They do need those
yes,
people who know and how to feel. It's not just about technology. It's about sometimes in business world or as leaders, we are able to sense, we are able to feel, and that comes with experience.
that's right.
Yeah. Yes, and that comes with an alignment of
Yeah,
a person's integrity and congruence. So that's essential because there are certain times like, okay, something's wrong with the person. And that's what I call inclusive. Something's wrong with the person. Let me talk to him or her, right? The person may not be performing. Something might be wrong, right? Is it because of health issue? Is it because of family issues that's behind it that we didn't know? And sometimes by knowing this thing, all right, us a little bit more, we are able to solve the problem or help the person out, and that person eventually can become productive at work.
Yeah.
Yes. So that brings then to the next question is maybe Ni, you want to share like a challenge that you face in fostering the diversity and how you overcome it. Yeah.
Well, this is very interesting. So I would say it's more than, for me, team is not just my team who work with me and
Mm,
close with me. For me, team here also, how do I make my team work well with client? And after COVID,
mm,
we managed to work with any part of the world easier by
mm,
digital, like basically with just a laptop you can work with anybody in any part of
mm,
the world.
mm,
So this is
mm.
the story when I was, everything about you, you experience that now, right? You work with my team. So
Yeah.
this thing I've been start from 2019 when COVID
Mm,
working, everything shut down. So I have to build my team completely through online. And
mm.
that's the time when, not like now when everybody knows something to share. Like you figure out things. Whatever that you
Yes.
experience in my team is that's what I figure out how to solve the problem,
Yeah.
right? And I build my system. Like you have to build completely new system for your company
Mm,
from scratch again with online.
mm.
And my team most is come from Vietnam. And
Uh,
yes, I understand Vietnamese culture and I understand the
mm.
diverse Vietnam from different part of Vietnam. But yet, how do I deal with the problem of this
Yeah.
diversity from Vietnamese who have zero, like never been out from the country? How do they
Yeah.
know the country and the culture to work with? And that's
Yes.
where the real problem come, right? Like, how do
Yeah.
I make a foreigner going to trust my team? At the same time,
Mm,
how do I show the world my team perform as excellent
mm.
at the skill as foreigner when they have never been travel out from the country to understand the standard
Yes.
of the country
Yeah.
outside of Vietnam? You get where I come
Yeah.
from?
Of
And
course.
yeah, and that's tough, right? Sometimes client will throw information and expect, hey, you should know how to do it like a Singaporean or like a
Mm,
Australian or like a US person, like, yeah, like USA person, right? But the client will never have an empathy or sit down or understand all these people they come from third world country. They need people groom, they need people guide. And yet, of course,
mm,
that's my job as a leader. But at the same time, a little bit empathy will give them a little bit more patience to expand for them. For example, I let them fail a lot. I let them
mm,
taste the truth, the hurt from the diversity that they have, right? Because it's
mm.
easy for you to say something to them, but it's very hard when you never experience the life they have. And I always have a meeting with them, like you say, like we're more like just working with like homie. But why? Because I understand how Singaporean kid grow. Now I have a kid in the house. I know, right? You have a different
Yeah.
set of problem, but yet you learn English from young. My daughter,
Yes.
primary three, she had to do homework in laptop. So now I
Yes.
compare kid who primary three in Vietnam. They only
Mm.
start learn ABC. They only start learn how to read and plus and minus.
Ah. Oh.
They never learn English in their whole life. Do you get
Yeah.
it? Like, yeah, you add it in
Yeah.
school, but it's not useful because it's a Vietnamese teach English to a Vietnamese. How can
Mm,
be
mm, mm.
exact, right? Like, you will
Yeah.
be lazy. You will like still speak Vietnamese in the class, and
Yes.
English is like
Yes.
you have to be like this. Like you have to talk, you have to
Yeah.
say wrong, you have to make mistake,
Mm,
and then the English spoken person will correct for you, and your ear
mm.
just get better of catching information and memory, and then
Mm-hmm.
practice in anything on the
Yeah.
world. So when I work with them, I always tell them about how disadvantaged you are for you to enter the world. Did not mean I
Mm,
disencourage, but I just to let them aware that if you're going to compete with a kid who in Australia who
mm.
speak English from inside the stomach
Since
out
young.
from young,
Yeah.
you already behind them 20 years of English speaking.
Yes.
it means for you to deliver information, because just now you talk about inclusive, right? Communication is so
Mm,
important. For you to
yes.
communication to other people in other country to understand you is a bigger challenge that you guys have to deal. And sometimes
Yeah.
you can speak in your way, in your culture, in your country. That's is normal. But
Mm,
somehow with foreigner, they find is weird. What are you talking about? You know, like it's not, we don't say that in my country. I don't get it. It can be the
yes.
sensitivity of the conversation and back and forth. So that's a challenge that I've been deal for many years. It get better, right? Because most of the client now work with them. Of course, they already improved. By now, when you manage to conversation with them, it's already
Yeah.
what, 5 years of me training, and yet it still have a lot to groom them. You know where I come from, like
Yeah.
the last 5 years, I'm still struggling with it, but I don't book that at the challenge that will stop me from produce more good talent out for the market, because that's
Mm,
what your job as a business, like your creativity, you invest in human, you make
mm,
human better, you make them success in life, you make them achieve what they want in life, and you get reward after that, right?
mm,
I don't think any leader on earth just like who I say integrity leader, they do it just
mm,
for the sake of themselves, right? I have a joy of when my team will better, when the client come back and say, wow, your team is work very hard, they don't
improve.
understand, but
Yeah.
they try to understand, they're very patient, they're willing to learn. And for me, all that feedback make me as a leader stronger to like, yeah, it's the challenge, the gap, the problem, but did not mean stop me from the inclusive leadership style that I'm trying to make it
Yeah.
work every day. Yeah, so that's my
Yes.
struggling.
Yeah. I think your challenge would be more how to bring the Vietnamese group out of Vietnam
That's right.
to be competent enough to
Yeah.
see and manage clients
Yeah.
internationally. I
Yeah,
think that
that's
is a
now
kind
you
of
already get my problem, and that's still my bigger problem, you see. I feel
yeah,
like this
yeah.
topic today is for me. Because they not, so you see the technical thing, like they good, right? Everything they good,
Mm,
but the creativity, the see the
mm.
world, like experience outside. So
The
of course every
exposure.
years I bring them to
Yeah,
Singapore, like you see, I always bring them to all the classes
yeah.
and learn. People think like, wow, you so good, boss, you bring. I say, you don't get it, because for the kid who never travel, to see the
Yes.
technology thing, for them to understand, even to understand what people
Mm,
say, and they don't understand most of the time, but I
yeah.
force them to interact, if not they will
Yes.
never ever able to handle client
Mm,
without me. They will forever
yeah.
depend on me to communication with the client, and it will tough on them, right? It's like they will
Mm,
become a people who just like basically like a robot, like you don't know how to bring yourself out to willing to talk to the client and honest to them that, hey, I know my gap is very far from a lot of worker around the world, but I
mm,
want to improve, right? And that's the
yeah.
mindset I always tell them. I say, remember, you very far from all these kids, not try to say that you bad luck or your life is bad, but look at me, I'm the same like you. I'm also a Vietnamese, I'm
Mm,
not learning English from young, but I never give up. And it's
yeah.
important, the mindset in work, that you will earn your place, but you really, really work very hard compared with another people who are born and raised at English speaking or Chinese speaking,
Mm,
because they have big market where
mm.
whoever like language is still contribute a lot to your success. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? What
So
is your story?
oh, the challenge that I faced in fostering diversity for me was during the time where I started to work with my China partner.
Mm,
Yeah. That's where I started to realize both are Chinese because when I first expanded my business, it was Singapore, Malaysia. So Singapore, Malaysia kind of like we are the same. So
mm,
cultural wise, not that different. But and even Taiwan is still quite okay. But I actually expanded to China first, then to Taiwan. So when I was with my China partner, I start to realize when I go there and expand the company and have team members, uh, it is really, even me and my business partner, so we start to realize there are certain things. I mean, he's only 2 years older, 2 to 3 years older than me. But the kind of thinking is very different because he was brought up very differently. He was brought up from China. I'm brought up in Singapore. Even though we are 3 years apart in age, the way he thinks really, I must say, it seems like he's 10 over years older than me. Yeah. So it's much more complicated in the sense when it's dealing with certain issues. Because it's like they think, because China being such a big place, like Singapore is small, everything is small, right?
Yeah.
So we think more simply. Yeah. But for them, they think more in terms of the macro environment. So everything when they speak, they have to speak macro.
Mm.
Yes. So this is where like what you mentioned, like you mentioned, you got to bring your Vietnamese team members out to Singapore to actually see the world. Now,
Yeah.
for us is I come from a world where it has a mixture of the Eastern and the Western world. So, but even though with that, we are more the westernized way of thinking. And when we go over at the point of time in China, that was like ten years ago, his way of working in certain things is still quite different from us. So when we want to recruit team members, it has a little bit of a difficulty in terms of how we manage the team members because I am a very westernized way. He is a
Yeah.
very more Chinese mainland. He keeps telling me, this is not how it works here. This is not how it works here. This is always the typical thing that he always tell me. It's not gonna work here. It's not gonna work here, right? But I say, but I myself, I've been doing it in Singapore, Malaysia. Our team, we work this way. No, it's not gonna work here. So that's why even for the two of us, as
Yeah.
so-called the founders of my China company, we I have to kind of like there's a fostering of diversity already. Two leaders, in fact, having different upbringing, different ways of thinking, but because it's in China, so what I do is I kind of like gave in to him most of the time and give him the benefit of the doubt because he knows the market supposedly much better than me. He should know the team members how they should be treated much better as well. Yeah. And even in that, in fostering diversity, where because our office was in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Now, even in Shanghai itself, in Chinese, the people who we recruit are very different. Those
Yeah.
who come from the southern part of China, northern part of China, or brought up in Shanghai, they're just three different types of ways of thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, even in language wise, even though it's in Chinese, but how we should do things would also be very different. So as I mentioned, this is where the biggest challenge at that point of time when I was managing a team. I don't find it that challenging when it comes to in Singapore where we have, let's say, Singapore, Indians, Malays. I don't find that that's a lot of difficulties because kind of like we know how to do certain things in a certain way and how we behave, right? And the sensitivity of the ethnicity. But when it comes to China, it has a different way of how they deal with things, how they see things. Yeah. And that is where I have to also match up sometimes. And also when teams come together, I have to be able to also become like the mediator. There was a period of time, my Singapore team and Malaysia team, they have a lot of differences. So they're supposed to work together. Like, for example, the operation side is run by Malaysia. The thinking, so-called the strategic part, is run by Singapore. So you see, now the strategic part already thought through what to be done. Execution part, Malaysia side is going to do it. But the message didn't really get through. Yeah. So like what you mentioned, Ni, in terms of communication, this is where it becomes a really big problem. So it's always, I must say, how we overcome it is a lot of alignment. It's just alignment, alignment, and alignment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as leaders like us, we always have, like, for example, we come as a 10 o'clock huddle. We always have a 10 o'clock huddle, come together. What are we supposed to do? Like, what are we going to focus on? And let's do it. Any
Yeah.
challenges, bring it up for that day. It's not that we're going to solve it on the spot, but at least it's
Yeah.
brought up and I will take it. And after that, I'll say, okay, it can. We have this issue, this issue, this issue. So later on, A, B, C, D, we stay back, right? And we are going to solve these three issues. Okay, D, E, F, I'm going to come to you later on. Let's meet at about 12 o'clock and we'll solve the other issue. So that's why I say there's a lot of alignment that we need to do, and that's the best way to help to overcome all these challenges.
Yeah.
So that brings me to the next point, that the key traits of a leader if we want to empower this diverse team, right? Yeah. So do you
I
want to
think
share like what
I
are the
think
key traits?
sensitivity and uh, quick solve problem is important. I think
Mm,
that's the key trait for me, because a lot of people
mm,
they don't understand how sensitivity here not mean like you sensitive. I mean the sense of everybody around you, send the room, send
yeah.
your people work
Yes.
for you, send the emotion
Yes.
behind the word that they can say, because some people cannot even use the word to
Mm,
explaining about the emotional. Then
yeah.
if you can have this sensitivity character,
Mm,
you set people well, and then a quick solve the problem. Like you really have to have a, a mindset first, also a character of I love to solve
mm,
problem. Like you have to be
yes.
loved. You're not being forced to do it. You really have to be enjoy solving
Yeah.
problem. Then will be give you the empower to diverse the team really, because the
Yeah.
team up to you for your energy.
Yeah.
If today you also in a bad mood, or you also in a mindset of don't want to solve, nobody else in the bottom will want to inclusive themselves with another person, right? Because if they can do it
Mm,
themselves, they're not in here in the first place. So
yeah.
that's the key trait that I think is important for
Yeah, I
myself.
totally agree with Ni. Problem solving. I mean, leaders. If we don't have problem solving in the first place, we can't be leaders. That's what
Yeah,
I love to do.
yeah,
Yeah. And isn't it what business is about? I always
yeah,
tell people, what was business about? If you want to make money, it's just, I can't remember who's the one who said this.
yeah,
If you want to know how to make a lot of money, just solve a big problem.
yes,
Yeah. The bigger the problem you solve, the more money will come, right? So this is what leaders are, right? We are
yeah,
here to solve problems. If there are
yeah,
no problems, then they don't need us. Yes. So that's where I think the key traits is must love and embrace that this thing, solving problems. Second is patience. Yeah. I this is something I've been learning, because I'm a very impatient person. Okay. And I kind of like, maybe I'm not very smart, but certain things I can catch quite fast. So if people cannot catch it, I will be like a little bit frustrated. How come you don't get it? This is just like that. One, two, three. It's that simple. Why it takes so long to do it? But I need to be very patient when it comes to empowering the team, because, as I said, certain people, maybe the exposure is not there, so the experience also is not there. Probably the intelligence may not be there as well. All right, and they are growing. So give them time to grow. Give them the patience. All right, to guide them, to coach them, to mentor them, the team members, for them to grow. So this is the second thing. I think the key traits is really has to be a little bit patient. And the other key traits is embrace. Yeah, be able to embrace that diversity. We
yeah,
have this tendency of liking to have people who are like ourselves.
mm,
For example, I walk fast and I don't eat fast, but I do things very fast. I can multitask. But a lot of people cannot multitask. So I will be very happy when you can do this, do this, do this at the same time. Okay, we do it together, right? And then there are some
yeah,
people I will see, why you just only do that one thing? How about the second thing? When are you going to do the second one? One thing at a time. No, 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 I can only do one. Just focus on one thing. But they do it very well, in the sense. So I have to embrace that they are just different. Okay, so people they behave differently, embrace that and see the goodness in people. And that is where a leader should come in and know that trait of the person and bring it out in the person. I think that is where a successful leader can come. Yeah. So that brings over then to the next point of leadership. How to ensure that every voice is heard and valued in a team. Yes, because like I believe me and me, I don't know, we may seem to be the very outspoken person,
yeah,
even when both of us are in a team. All right. I'm very happy to be a follower one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Me
I'm not
too.
sure about uni. Yeah, I'm very
Me
happy.
too.
Oh, I don't need to lead. Oh,
You know,
yo.
I have this conversation with my team all the time. I say I can't wait for you guys to take over, so I can really,
Yeah.
really just because I'm born introvert. I train to be extrovert.
Ah,
It's a You can tell when you meet me in a person, like only because of work, then I'm front, but if not, I'm just one corner. You
yeah.
can see it's obvious. So I'm trained out extrovert, but inside me, when I like just now we talk about love to solve problem. If I see something
Mm,
itchy my eye and it's annoying me, I have to solve it. Really, it's
yes.
just like if my team do something that is not a quick way, or I find is we take another 2 hours to finish it, I have to
Yeah.
give them a trick to do it done in 5 minutes, for example. So
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
character. It sounds like an
Yes.
annoying mother. It sounds like annoying person, but I wish I don't see it. If I don't see it, it's
Yes.
not become my problem. But we learn that, right? Anything you see and
Yeah.
it's annoying you, it means that's your problem that you have to solve, right? And over years, yeah, they make the system better, faster, but also make me harder to step down. Not because I
Mm,
want to be there, but they will call you, say, "Oh, can you help me with? I'm not sure how to solve this problem. People client complain about this. How can I respond?" So I have to teach them. I use the word teach because as a leader, you have to
yes.
train and teach people
Mm,
all the time. Every second,
yes.
like
Training is
you have to ask
important.
them. Yeah, you
Mandatory.
have to ask them, what do you think? If
Mm,
you are the client, what do you think? But the best part
mm,
is they don't even understand in the first place, right?
mm.
They were like, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm not the client, I don't understand why did they need it. And then you have to
Yeah.
come in to guide them. So I'm sure you deal with this all the time, right? Especially with people, it's easy for you to say, yeah, you need to coach your team. No, it's not. Because even if you try to tell them too advanced thing and they never,
Mm,
never, never experience in their life,
mm.
they can't understand. They, like I just said in the first place, like they never travel. Then how do they know how other people live in condition, how the environment, how the
Yes.
mindset, how the law, the regular, the culture that they've been involving. So if you don't
Mm,
know all that detail, it's very hard for you to work well with each other. So I think for you to let everybody to be here, the voice, and value the team, you can listen to everybody share what their opinion about, but
mm,
I still not in my way of leading. I don't know how other. I don't believe in every voice that they sharing is contributed. You listen, but what you take to contribute, then also take skill, right?
mm.
Filter, right? Some
Yeah.
people just share for the sake of sharing. Some people complaining just for the sake of complaining, or some people just say it because they love to talk, or some people just
Yep.
like try to help and be helpful, but they
Mm,
don't have a capable in terms of help. Like they make things more
yeah.
mess, for example. So I think as a leader, the end you have to selective. You listen, you care for them, but the end what valid and what valuable for the team is still you need this sharp mindset from the leader.
Mm,
That's how I still
yes.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we know that the introverts and extroverts, and sup- surprisingly, a lot of people who thought that we are because we are both trainers are extroverts, but most trainers are actually introverts. Most people
Yeah.
who stand on the stage are actually
Yeah.
introverts.
I'm actually
Yes.
realize that. You
Yeah.
like we both just step out and we have energy to perform, but when we step back
Yes.
behind, like Pauline one corner, I'm one corner. That's it. Like we don't
Yeah.
not like we fake though, but we understand our energy. We know,
Yes. Yes.
okay, she like me, she introvert, Like I don't know
Yeah.
someone like, but why I also curious why most of trainer
Actually,
is I always
there's
thought
another
is
term.
you know.
Wait, there's another term called ambivert. That
Mm,
means there are times we are introvert, there are times we are extrovert. Like by nature,
yeah,
we're introvert, but when time calls for it, we are extrovert.
yeah,
So, but we don't get energy. How's the different? How to know that introvert or extrovert is actually where we get energy from?
that's right.
Yeah, I don't get energy from people. I
Me
don't.
too. I
Yes,
get energy
yes,
from me alone. The more I'm
Yes.
alone, the more I'm go to the park and walk and spend time with
Yes.
myself,
Yes.
the more stronger I
Yes.
get. So
Yes.
so opposite, right? People would think we
Yeah.
like maybe need to go out. No, I like me and Pauline, even
Yes.
we stay in the same country, we don't see each other often.
Yeah. 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 See,
Yeah,
my
people
favorite was
somehow
when
my
I'm by
energy.
myself.
That's how I feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people thought it's about talking. No, it's not about talking. It's about how we gain energy. So if I'm with
Mm,
a lot of people, all right, I will use up a lot of my energy and I will
mm,
deplete it. So
yeah,
then
me
after
too.
that, I need to go back to my charging point. There's this
That's
clock
right.
there. I need to go back to my charging point. So that's where, but when we talk about leaders ensuring every voice is heard, it's really to know that there are some other quiet ones. And the quiet ones, why they don't want to talk, why they don't want to be heard. There might be some issues with them. Yeah. And their views are also important. That's
Yeah.
why, as leaders, we need to know how to facilitate. So leaders are also facilitators. So in meetings, especially, we need to facilitate the meetings. I like to use the word facilitating meetings rather than when we chair a meeting, so that everyone is being heard and those voices are heard. Because if I know I recruit them as a team member, they are definitely important because frankly speaking, I pay them a salary, our team members. When we pay them a salary, they have to contribute back. They cannot be sitting
Yes.
out there and said, because I'm shy, I don't contribute. I'm afraid that
Yeah.
people talk bad about me, that's why I don't contribute. But maybe I've got really good ideas, I've got certain views, but I keep it to myself. That's very bad. That's a crime to me. Okay? Because the company employ you, you cannot keep things to yourself in making the company be better. Right? So that's a crime, right? Yeah. So that's where leaders must ensure that we are good facilitators. So that then if we want to make sure that everyone, right, voice is being heard, then we need to have strategies. Okay. So the environment must definitely allow for that. Okay. So there are certain strategies that we can use to create an environment where differences are being embraced, right? Yeah. So for my organization in the past, how we embrace it is we celebrate wins. I think celebration is important. Be it little wins, all right? Be it a breakthrough, be it a growth. It may not be translated to a P&L. Of course, if it's translated to a sale, that's great. That money comes in, that's a big celebration. But if it's translated to a breakthrough of a person, right? Translated to a breakthrough in the organization, or our plan can move forward, or an improvement of the company, of how things are being done, or cutting cost. I think that those are things that we need to do. First of all, is to celebrate wins and even small wins or milestones. Okay. Next is embrace. Well, I don't like to use failures. I will say embrace learnings when things don't go well. So when things don't go well, it means there's a chance to learn. So embrace that learning. So have a learning organization. So that some of you might have heard of this term called learning organization. Every organization need to be a learning organization, and leaders need to facilitate that. That if we run a project, okay, we have a new initiative, be ready to know that it might not work. It may not fail yet. Okay, I don't believe in that's a failure. All right, I
Yeah.
always believe is if it doesn't work, we learn from it. We learn ways of not doing certain things. That's our take back. Okay, so
Yeah.
two key things. How about you, Ni? What strategies do you think you will use to create an environment where differences can be embraced?
Uh, I think I have more activity toward. So I have this routine in my team that every month
Ah,
we will have a team meeting, but it's not for work.
okay.
So
Oh,
if they live in different part of Vietnam, they will meet up at
oh,
one venue,
all
and
right.
we're going to have just like conversation, like do activity together, play game together,
I
and then
see.
small table, small group, and then swap table. It basically look like a
Mm,
dating event,
I
but actually
see.
it's not dating. It's more like for you to know other department because my team is so
Mm,
big in Vietnam. Sometimes I want them to know the struggling from another side when they do different job. Technical guy will have a different character, and HR team will be different, and
yes.
like I want to mix them up so they understand each other,
Mm,
and I don't want them to have a feeling that you only work with your team who are like 4 or 7 of you and that's it, and you don't
mm,
know how big the whole team is. And when starting do that, the team will give me a lot of positive feedback. They're like, oh my god, I didn't realize how big the team is. And then we meet up, and then of course you need to have a host for this all the time. So team HR will take care of it. And
Ah,
because my team most is young, you see, so I have to
yes.
creative a lot to deal with the work from home situation. At the same time, I want them to connect. So in the past we do it
Ah,
three months once, but now
mm,
I'm down to like every month. So, and
wow.
surprise for me, they really looking for it, like they really enjoy
Yes.
to see each
Yeah.
other in person. So uh I find it's helped a lot when they come back from the desk to see the team again from Zoom.
Mm,
They have better connection, they have better
mm,
bond, they're more comfortable to talk stuff.
yeah.
And I'm proud to say that this is the team create. Of course it's ideas from me, but the team work very hard because they're young, they understand another young person
Mm,
what they needed. And they create the funding every month of meetup. And it help connect all the team together. So that's my that's my way of applying in my
yeah.
organization. I don't know how other
Yes.
organization, but it's working for us so far.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like really the strategy is really get to know one another better.
yeah,
Right. And that's what Nhi is using to be able to get them to know beyond just working environment. Yes. So
yeah,
once relationship has been established, we are more tolerant or have more compassion with
yeah,
one another. And when it comes to working, right? Yes.
yeah,
And yeah, it's not easy also. Where I would say that some of them, when I work with NhiLe Team, some in Hanoi, some in Da Nang, some in Ho Chi Minh, and Vietnam is so big, like from north to south.
yes,
Yeah, even that, the culture can be quite different. The way they
very
behave can be
different.
quite different as well. Yeah, it's very
Yeah, very
different.
different.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, so that brings to the last point of what is your vision for the future of inclusive leadership and how we
Oh my,
can work towards it. Yes. Wow, what a big topic, future.
I don't know
Okay.
if Pauline agree with me, but it change. I find every day now the change is so quick that
Mm,
I'm kind of get used to that now. But if you ask me, am I
mm,
comfortable with that change so quick in the world?
mm,
My answer is you know. You know what I mean? Like every day
mm,
something come out and whatever been working suddenly no longer use, and then you have to learn to use a new one, and then you just get used a little bit, and then a new one again. And I don't like it starting like last 2 years. I don't
yeah,
like it. Before that, now I'm kind of I'm past the denial and don't like it state. Now
yeah,
I'm entering into the accepted and open mind to learn and adapt.
mm,
And I think like just now I share with you about the inclusive, how to make the team bond better. Right. The
yes,
future you very hard to tell. I still think individual leader, you will know your team better. You know your
yes,
team, right? Like Pauline will know her team better. I know my team because
mm,
you groom them from young. You know what style work for them, what not work for them, what can adjust,
mm,
what try, what if fail, what should remove.
mm,
The harder part right now, challenge for leader like find inclusive is how do you make them bond together as a human being? Because go deep back to psychology, what we know and we learn is humans still need connection. We need connection,
yes,
and we need to have an environment, the opportunity, the way for the team to bond. Like for me,
mm,
that's day when every month the team come to see each other. It consider a working day. They
yeah,
get that day is like a working day for them. It's not a
yeah,
weekend that I take away from them. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
how do you book that in the organization that remove the finance aside? Can you sacrifice a little bit for the team to bond and to connect and to know one of other and care about them? Because I
mm,
find, we talk about if have sadness you share somehow the sad
mm,
diverse, like it make you feel better. But when you have happiness you share with each other,
mm,
the happiness increase more, right? So why
mm,
we don't embrace that more? So that's what I think. For me personally, I find the vision is still depend on individual that leader.
yeah. Great. I just find that when it talk about like vision for future inclusive leadership, the principle is still the same. All right. It's always care for people.
Mm.
Yeah, be it, I would say whether it's in the past, it's now, or it's future. For me, I do think that just serve with the heart. The highest leadership always we term it as servant leadership. That
Yeah.
means we always put it into their perspective. That's where if we always treat our team members as one of the key shareholders, one of the key players and leaders in itself in the organization, the way we work towards inclusive leadership is always the same. Be it which era we are born in, whether it's tech world, non-tech world, or diversity, or the world change fast. I always find that as long as we have as leaders the heart for the people, and we are here to groom them, to develop them, it will still be the same. Yeah, so we embrace everyone's uniqueness. Okay, of course, on the basis that the values are aligned and everybody working towards the mission. Okay, I'm not talking about people who are like, no integrity and no work ethics and lack of let's say professionalism. Okay, those are not meant to be. All right, so leaders have to be very clear when we talk about inclusive. It's not about compromising the standards that we have, all right, for our team members. So it is more about embracing the diversity of the weak strengths and weaknesses of individuals who are able to perform, yet in different ways, leveraging on one another's strength. And I believe with that, the organization would definitely grow, prosper, and compound the compound growth over the years we would be able to see in the future. Yeah. Right. So
Yeah.
that seems like it concludes the end of this topic on inclusive leadership, how we empower a diverse team. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So any like last words you want to talk about this before we end off, Nhi?
Yes, I think I the last word, which is that's what Pauline said, but I will re say it again because I
Reinforced.
love what Pauline
Yeah.
said. Reinforce that really leader the end is still from the heart, right? I
Mm.
know when you work something from the heart, the fear of heartbroken when people disappointed you or they
Yeah.
leave you, or the journey. I think for me, the a lot of memory in my work with my team, sometimes the heartbreak from the team member is way more pain than the from an ex-boyfriend. And I say it because I really mean it. you know your
Uh,
your boyfriend can have a lot of romantic experience with you, but your team go through up and
mm,
down with you into
yeah.
real life situation, in finance, in hardship, and it really like a ship on the sea. So
Yeah.
but yet break up your heart again and be amazing leader again, because the team only inclusive together and work well together when the
Mm,
leader has strong heart and willing to love other,
yes.
willing to be hurt, but at the
Yes.
same time that get back up and be strong leader.
Yes.
So yes,
Yeah.
the end is all
This is
about
what,
the
yes, this
yeah.
is what the difference is, right? For female leadership, the BlackPink leader. So remember to
Yeah.
like, subscribe, and share if you love what we have shared, all right, on this BP leadership. Okay, so we see
Yeah.
you next week. Bye bye.
Bye. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe both Pauline channel and my channel, and also this channel. If you love
All
what you're
right.
watching, please share it, and we will see you in the next episode.
Yes. Bye.